The phrase growing up too fast evokes a poignant image of childhood innocence lost prematurely, often under the weight of circumstances beyond a child's control. In psychological terms, this phenomenon refers to children who are compelled to assume adult like responsibilities, emotional burdens, or maturity levels far earlier than developmentally appropriate. This can manifest through parentification, where a child acts as a caregiver to parents or siblings, or through exposure to trauma, hardship, or environmental stressors that accelerate emotional and psychological development. While society sometimes praises such children for their maturity or resilience, research reveals a darker underbelly, a host of long term psychological consequences that can impair mental health, relationships, and overall well being into adulthood. At its core, growing up too fast disrupts the natural progression of childhood, a period meant for play, exploration, and gradual skill building under protective guidance. Psychologists like those from the American Psychological Association highlight how early maturation, whether emotional, psychological, or even physical, can lead to accelerated aging on a cellular level, including shortened telomeres, which are linked to premature health declines. This is not merely anecdotal. Empirical studies, such as those examining hardship in childhood, show that adverse experiences shape subjective age identity, making children feel older than their chronological years and violating age normative expectations. The psychology behind this involves multiple interconnected factors. From attachment theory, we see how insecure bonds formed in dysfunctional families foster hypervigilance and self reliance. Trauma informed perspectives emphasize how neglect or abuse creates a psychological prison, where children adapt by suppressing needs and prioritizing survival. Furthermore, concepts like hurried child syndrome describe the pressure from societal or parental expectations that rob children of carefree development, leading to emotional stunting masked as precocity. This essay delves into the multifaceted psychology of children who grow up too fast, exploring causes, immediate effects during childhood, long term consequences in adulthood, and potential pathways for intervention. By drawing on diverse sources, including clinical studies, personal narratives, and psychological frameworks, we substantiate that while such children may exhibit surface level strengths like empathy or responsibility, the underlying costs often include chronic anxiety, relational dysfunction, and a pervasive sense of loss. Ultimately, understanding this psychology is crucial for fostering healthier environments that allow children to develop at their natural pace. Preserving the sanctity of childhood. The roots of growing up too fast often trace back to family dynamics where roles are inverted. Parentification, a term coined by family therapist Ivan Boss-Sormani-Nagy, occurs when children are thrust into caregiving positions, either instrumentally handling chores, finances, or sibling care, or emotionally serving as a parent's confidant or mediator. This reversal stems from parental inadequacies, such as mental illness, substance abuse, divorce, or economic hardship, forcing children to fill voids left by absent or overwhelmed adults. In many cases, this begins subtly. A child might listen to a parent's marital woes, offering comfort beyond their years, or manage household tasks while a single parent works multiple jobs. Over time, these accumulate, eroding the child's ability to engage in age appropriate activities. Reddit discussions and psychological blogs reveal personal stories where children describe feeling adultified, unable to relate to peers due to serious adult problems. Such experiences align with attachment theory, where disorganized or avoidant styles emerge from unreliable caregiving, prompting children to prioritize others' needs for security. Trauma plays a pivotal role. Exposure to violence, abuse, or neglect accelerates maturation as a survival mechanism. The APA notes that threat related trauma prompts early puberty and cellular aging, with children in toxic environments developing faster physically and emotionally to cope. This weathering effect, akin to accelerated biological clocks, manifests psychologically through hypervigilance and emotional numbing. Socioeconomic factors exacerbate this. Poverty or unstable homes demand practical maturity, with children contributing to family survival, leading to missed educational or social opportunities. Cultural contexts also influence. In some immigrant families, children act as language brokers or cultural navigators, adding layers of responsibility. Physically, precocious puberty, early onset of secondary sexual characteristics, can compound psychological maturation, caused by genetic, hormonal, or environmental factors like obesity or endocrine disruptors. It leads to body image issues and social isolation. As children grapple with adult like bodies in childish minds, Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic reports indicate risks like anxiety from peer differences or parental overreactions. Media and societal pressures contribute too. The hurried child phenomenon, as described by psychologist David Elkind, arises from overscheduling, academic stress, or exposure to adult content via technology, pushing children toward premature independence. In 2026, with digital saturation, children encounter mature themes early, fostering cynicism or anxiety about the world. These causes interplay, creating a cascade where one factor, for example, parental mental illness, leads to another, for example, emotional parentification, amplifying psychological strain. Recognizing them is key to prevention. Causes of growing up too fast. The etiology of premature psychological maturation is complex, rooted in familial, environmental, and biological domains primarily. Family dysfunction serves as a catalyst. When parents are incapacitated by mental health issues, addiction, or chronic illness, children often step in, inverting traditional roles. This parentification can be emotional, where a child becomes a therapist like figure, or instrumental, involving practical tasks. Studies from NIH indicate that such dynamics lead to varied outcomes, from resilience to severe distress, depending on perceived fairness and support. Traumatic experiences accelerate this process. Abuse or neglect forces adaptive maturity, where children learn to anticipate threats, suppressing playfulness for vigilance. Psych Central articles describe this as originating from unfair responsibilities and unrealistic standards, resulting in chronic stress. In extreme cases, like exposure to violence, children enter puberty earlier, linking physical and psychological prematurity. Socioeconomic hardship compounds risks. Low-income families may rely on children for labor or emotional support, depriving them of education and leisure. Research shows that hardships like unstable housing or food insecurity shape older subjective ages through early role assumptions and shortened life expectations. Biological factors, such as precocious puberty, add another layer, triggered by tumors, genetic conditions, or environmental toxins. Early physical changes force psychological adjustment to societal reactions, often leading to isolation. UCLA Health notes genetic syndromes or family history as causes, with consequences including stunted growth and emotional turmoil. Cultural and societal influences cannot be ignored. In some cultures, early responsibility is normative, but in Western contexts, it clashes with expectations of prolonged childhood. Media exposure to violence or sexuality hastens emotional maturity, as children internalize adult concerns. These causes are not isolated. They interact, creating compounding effects. For instance, a child in an impoverished, abusive home may experience both parentification and early puberty, intensifying psychological burdens. Immediate psychological effects on children. During childhood, growing up too fast manifests in immediate psychological disruptions. Children exhibit pseudomaturity, appearing wise but lacking true emotional depth, leading to social isolation. They struggle to form peer bonds, feeling different due to adult burdens. Stress and anxiety are rampant. Parentified children live in hypervigilance, anticipating needs or conflicts, resulting in somatic symptoms like headaches or insomnia. This chronic state alters brain development, shrinking the hippocampus and impairing emotion regulation. Loss of childhood is profound. Denied play and exploration, these children miss milestones, fostering resentment or grief. They may internalize guilt, believing they must be strong, suppressing emotions. Behavioral issues emerge, such as perfectionism or people-pleasing, as adaptations to avoid punishment. In school, concentration suffers, leading to underachievement despite potential. For those with precocious puberty, body image distress adds layers, with early developers facing bullying or sexualization, heightening depression risks. Overall, these effects create a foundation of insecurity, priming for adult struggles. Long term effects in adulthood. The scars of growing up too fast endure into adulthood, influencing mental health, relationships, and self concept. Former parentified individuals often battle anxiety, depression, and PTSD from unresolved trauma. They may exhibit hyperindependence, fearing vulnerability or codependency, replicating caregiving patterns. Boundary issues are common. Adults struggle to say no, leading to burnout or resentment in relationships. Perfectionism and fear of failure stem from early high standards, causing workaholism or self sabotage. Identity crises arise, with disconnection from the inner child manifesting as difficulty enjoying leisure or forming playful bonds. Substance use or self harm may cope with suppressed emotions. Physically, early maturers face ongoing body image woes and higher risks for psychosocial problems like early sexual activity or substance abuse. Yet positives exist: enhanced empathy, resilience, and coping skills can lead to thriving if supported. Interventions and healing. Healing begins with recognition. Therapy, particularly trauma focused like EMDR or attachment based, helps process grief and rebuild boundaries. Reparenting oneself, nurturing the inner child through play or self compassion is vital. For children, early intervention via family therapy or support services can mitigate effects. Medical treatment for precocious puberty, like GnRH analogs, addresses physical aspects, reducing psychological strain. Preventive measures include parental education on child development and societal shifts toward protecting childhood. Conclusion. Growing up too fast exacts a heavy psychological toll, from immediate stress to enduring relational scars. By substantiating these impacts through research, we underscore the need for empathy and action to safeguard childhood's essence. In doing so, we honor the resilience of those affected while advocating for environments where children can truly be children.